I remade and revamped Graham Stephan's first ever YouTube video to show you how anyone can make their videos 10 times better, even if it's their first ever attempt. Us YouTube creators all have something in common. Our first video was our worst.
And we put our heart and our soul and sometimes even our bodies into our content.
But there's these two big problems that hold our videos back time and time again. First, the common mistakes that we all make that wreck videos. Unfortunately, these are incredibly hard to recognize when you're doing them. Secondly, a video could actually have the making of something pretty special, but we just don't know how to take it up to that next level to achieve it. But by pointing out these common mistakes in Graham Stephan's first video and then showing you how to fix them, by the end of this video, you'll start to spot them in your own content, but we'll also be armed with the skills to do something about them too. Quickly though, who is Graham Stephan and why him? Graham for me is responsible for making financial content interesting. He sets the bar in that niche, and due to his lovable character, quality content, and his ability to make you hit the like button,
the more like buttons get pressed on this channel, the more iced coffee I can afford to drink.
He's amassed over 3 million subscribers in 4 years, but his first video, a video to give real estate agents some tips to sell properties, makes these 7 mistakes that just wreck it. Before I tell you the epic error in this video, I want to see if you can spot it in this first clip, because this is the ultimate killer of retention on videos, and just getting good at noticing it is going to really improve your content.
It looks a little bit better when the lights are turned on. Even if it looks marginally better with the lights turned on, just turn the lights on. It's so easy to do. I feel like a lot of people just overlook it because they think it's not that big of a deal. But if you can make your place look 1% better just by turning on a light, do it. It's the easiest, simplest thing you can do. It makes the place look better, it makes it look brighter, it makes it look cooler. Just turn on the lights.
So there we are, did you spot it? The problem was repetition. In Graham's first video, he repeats himself 48 times in 11 minutes. It stops the video progressing and it makes the viewer switch off. So now I'm going to cut out the repetition in his first tip. For 2 minutes, Graham talked about how you should turn on the lights for a home viewing. It's actually quite funny, and I like that he tries to get humour in, but for new viewers, it's like, oh, come on, get on with it. And there we have it. A 2-minute section of his video is now 20 seconds long. Now let's see if you can still understand his point, even though I've completely annihilated it.
When you're showing a listing, turn on all the lights. A lot of people just overlook it because they think it's not that big of a deal, but if you can make your place look 1% better just by turning on a light, do it.
Now I'm going to cut all the repetition and waffle from the rest of the video. With every laboured point gone, it's now 6 minutes long. Doing this to your videos is really hard, but I would urge you to spend time working out if every second of your content is actually needed. And that brings us on to pace. But pace isn't all about speed though, it's about creating constantly flowing content that resonates with your target viewer. Poor pace is the reason you watch people's videos in double speed on YouTube. And when people hit that ×2 speed button on your content, your average viewer duration won't get hit, but your watch times do. Graham's pace in his latest videos is spot on. It's like the information never stops. In fact, in Graham's last 8 videos, he spoke an average of 237 words per minute. In his first video, he only speaks an average of 200. So we need to find a way to put an extra 30 words a minute into his first video to bring it up to his pace, which is tried and tested with his viewers. And to do that, we need this, the J-cut, to remove the very thing that keeps us alive, breath. We want a constant stream of information here, so watch this. A traditional cut like this means every new clip stops the narrative. It's not fluid. When you use a J-cut like this, you literally get to the end of one clip's audio and bring in the start of another clip, so the narrative is constant.
We're gonna start with this. When you're showing a listing, turn on all the lights. Lights on, lights off. Light on. We're gonna start with this. When you're showing a listing, turn on all the lights. Lights on, lights off. Light on.
Now this is massive for your retention, but you still need to be tactical with your J-cuts. Don't just ram loads together to remove tiny weeny gaps. Make sure the cuts feel natural. It's also not a game of making a video
as fast as it can be either.
Before I go and do this to his entire video, we also want to look at jump cuts, because these are a really easy way to make content more energetic, but they're also something people tend to get wrong. Well, not quite wrong, but not as good as they should be. This is a jump cut. You just zoom in a tad on your video in the edit, then zoom out in the next clip. But the mistake people tend to make, including me, because I've often forgot, is they zoom in like this. So watch, something isn't quite right. Now, try this. Zoom in on your clip, but make sure the eye line's level with your previous clip's eye line, and then watch it again. You see that the jump just feels so much more natural, and when you combine it with the J-cut, it's just liquid smooth. Stop the video. So I've just noticed something that Graham Stephan's editor does that I've never seen anyone do before, and it's really flipping good. This camera camera angle is the same as this camera angle, and the editor has flipped it and then zoomed in, so it looks like there's another camera filming him. What this does is it gives the viewer something that feels new to look at. It almost feels like a scene change, and it's genius. I'm doing it now to one of his clips, and bam! This is such a great way to fake a multi-camera setup. So excuse me whilst I go through this video and add all of the J-cuts and jumps to boost his pace. Have a guess before I do it at how much time this will shave off the length of the video. It knocked off another 1 minute 15 seconds, which means his video is now at the same pace that his current audience know and love him for. It's definitely getting better, but the next things are gonna 10x this bad boy. But we've got one issue that we have to address. Graham decided to use some music that sounds like you just walked into a massage parlor. Listen.
Lights on.
And it just doesn't work with the content. Now, music is something you should be planning before you film because it can really impact a video, both good and bad. I mean, look at this and you'll see what I mean. Unfortunately, the next issue with this is more mine than yours. And because I don't have the original footage for this video, these cuts now mean I've got a song in the background that's all out of time, which might ruin my entire project. I'm just glad I didn't spend 4 days on this. So I've just added this track that you can hear right now as a solution, but the problem is if it clashes with his music too much, I'm just gonna have to bin it. It's kind of out of my hands, that one. So now we need to remove the next problem, dodgy footage, which isn't actually Graham's fault. Because I've cut Graham's video to pieces, it looks pretty yucky in places, but it's actually a great lesson for you, because if something looks bad in your video, don't worry, just cover it up. You can do that with B-roll, images, text, and not only does it hide anything unsightly, but it actually makes for a more entertaining watch too. So in Graham's video, he tries to make 6 points. So I'm going to chapter the video to make these points crystal clear. They're also going to cover up some of the dodgy bits, and the viewer reads this text, and then it can help them to get re-engaged again. For now, I'm just going to use Helvetica Bold in capitals, and then layer it on top of an image that is relevant to the title. But that's still boring, so to give it a little bit more energy, I'm going to add some movement to the image, a slide in transition, and have the text type on, and then I'll add some sound effects, and here we go. When you're showing a listing, turn on all the lights. Simple, but effective. And then all I have to do is make the other 5, put them on the video at the appropriate places, and the video's coming to life. So it's now time to add the va-va vroom. So I'm gonna go through this, and I'm gonna show you some tricks. First, I simply add more sound effects to his footage. A simple light switch on and off effect makes all the difference. Lights on, lights off. Then I throw in some more text, because his face is on screen for too long, and it starts to slow things down. Turning on a light, do it. Now this part's really important. Graham is making a point, and the key information here that will wake his viewers up is how much money someone could make if they follow his advice. So you just can't let this point go unnoticed, because it is the thing they'll pay the most attention to. So add some stock footage of someone making it rain with cash, text that appears on screen as he says the amount, and then a cashier sound effect to reinforce this, and this. It could be a small investment that could net the seller 5, 10, 15, sometimes $100,000 more just by using the right pictures. Becomes this. Net the seller 5, 10, 15, sometimes $100,000 more just by using the right pictures. And now we go up another level. This is what will transform your videos. What you can see there is me counting to the beat of the backing track I've used in Graham's video, because I'm going to change the image on screen to the beat of the music. So this... And it doesn't matter if it's a $200 per month lead or if it's a $10 million listing. I personally prefer evening pictures like right... Becomes this. And it doesn't matter if it's a $200 per month lead or if it's a $10 million listing. I personally prefer evening pictures like right around sunset. I think it makes... The difference it makes cutting all of your B-roll to the beat of the music is insane. Everything just falls into this rhythm that your viewers will struggle to escape. But there's still 2 common problems left to fix. Here Graham's talking about being late to a viewing, and then he just throws in a clip of him driving his Lotus Exige, which is kind of disjointed. Be a little bit early if you have to, but show up on time. If you say you're gonna be there at 2, show up at 2. It assumes the viewer will understand that he's on the way to a viewing, but it's like starting the story near the end. So with your visual story, you still want it to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I'm gonna go and film some B-roll for this video myself to show you what I mean. Find this to be an issue. It's just showing up on time. Show up when you say you're gonna show up and be on time. Be a little bit early if you have to. If you say you're gonna be there at 2, show up at 2. So before we move on to the final and one of the most important things to fix, I thought I'd show you 30 seconds of Graham's first video revamp to show you all of these things and how they come into play.
What's up YouTube, it's Graham here. I'm gonna make a video today of the easiest tips that you can do to be successful in real estate. We're gonna start with this. When you're showing a listing, turn on all the lights. Lights on, lights off. Light on. A lot of people just overlook it because they think it's not that big of a deal, but if you can make your place look 1% better just by turning on a light, do it. The next thing you need to do is use professional photography. It's so easy to overlook a listing that has really shitty pictures. It's gonna bring in so many more people. It could be a small investment that could net the seller 5, 10, 15, sometimes $100,000 more just by using the right pictures. And it doesn't matter if it's a $200 per month lead or if it's a $10 million listing. I personally prefer evening pictures, like right around sunset. I think it makes the place look the most vibrant.
And then all we need to do is give him another massive retention boost by sorting out his ending.
Before I cut it down, Graham said goodbye to his viewers and asked them to subscribe and comment for about 30 seconds, meaning 3 seconds into that section, most people will have left and just killed his retention. Which if you want your retention graph to look like this at the end with a 0 drop off, then you have to do something that almost seems rudely abrupt and say,
watch this video next because it's going to tell you how to make more interesting content, and this happens.
Oh, and by the way, the link to the finished edit is in the comments.